Procedure programming is about writing procedures or methods that perform operations on the data, while object-oriented programming is about creating objects that contain both data and methods. Object-oriented programming, we also call OOP, has several advantages over procedure programming. OOP is faster and easier to execute. It provides a clear structure for the programs, helps to keep the Java code dry, like a don't repeat yourself, and it makes the code easier to maintain, modify, and debug. OOP makes it possible to create full, reusable applications with less code and a shorter development time. Java is an object-oriented programming language. Everything in Java is associated with classes and objects, along with its attributes and methods. For example, in real life, a car is an object. The car has attributes such as weight and color and methods such as drive and brake. A class is like an object constructor or blueprint for creating objects. An object is a specific, concrete instance of a class. Creating an instance is called instantiation. A class definition describes what attributes its objects will have and what those objects will be able to do. Attributes are the characteristics that define the object. They are properties of the object. In this figure, we have a dog class with attributes like name, age, breed, shot status. Then we have 3 dog instances created from this class, and each dog has its corresponding properties. A method is a block of code which only runs when it is called. The class methods are declared within a class and that they are used to perform certain action. The meaning of encapsulation is to make sure that the sensitive data is hidden from users. To achieve this, you must declare class variables and attributes as private in a class. And we provide like a public get and set methods to access and update the value of a private variable. The clients can never touch the private variables. In Java, it is possible to inherit attributes and methods from one class to another. We group the inheritance concept into 2 categories. First is the subclass, or we call it child, the class that inherits from another class. Then we also have a superclass, parent, the class being inherited from. If one task is performed in different ways, it is known as a polymorphism. For example, to convince the customer differently to draw something, for example, shape, triangle, rectangle, etc. In Java, we use method overloading and method overriding to achieve polymorphism. And another example can be to speak something. For example, a cat speaks meow, dog barks woof, etc. Java is developed by Sun Microsystems. It's an object-oriented language. It has security features and architecture neutral. It can be run on a wide variety of computer systems. It doesn't execute instructions on the computer directly. It runs on hypothetical computer known as a Java virtual machine. Let's create our first Java project. So click File, New Project, and here we select Java, go to Next, and then we put a project name as a first. and click Finish. So it will give us a project first, and we see there's a first.java. So inside here, let's print out something. Let's say capital S system dot out dot print ln, that print line, the round parenthesis, then we have a double quote. In the double quote, we put a string, first Java application. Then we can click Run, and the message first Java application is displayed in output window. System is a class, and I must use a capital S, and the dot separates classes, objects, and methods. The out is a property of the system class. Then we have another dot. Then print line is a method. So this method name are always followed by a parenthesis. So inside the parenthesis, it may be arguments or parameters. And the double quote first Java application is a string that is the argument of the print line method. And every Java statement ends with a semicolon. So public class first. Public is an access specifier. Class is a keyword. First is the name of this class. And inside we have a public static void main string args. The public is also an access specifier. The static means the method is accessible and usable even though no objects of the class exist. So this main method works without instantiating an object of the class. Then void means this main method returns nothing. And everything between the curly braces is the method body. So the argument string brackets. So string is a class. Any argument to this method must be string object. Then the square brackets means the argument to this method is the array of strings. And we will learn this later. ARGS arguments is the identifier of the array of the strings. That is the argument to this method. We have a public class first, and it must be saved in first.java. So the class name and the Java file name must match. The comment in Java is similar as a C++. We have a single line comment, // If you comment a block of code, you have a beginning like a /*, then the closing */ is the same as a C++. The ch1 class is used to provide standard dialog boxes, such as a message dialog box, confirm dialog box, and the input dialog box. These dialog boxes are used to display information or get input from the user. The ch1 class inherits jComponent class. So in order to do this, we must have an import statement with an import javax.swing.jOptionPen, semicolon. And in the main method, we have a jOptionPen.show message dialog, then no, comma, then first Java code. And you will see a dialog message box like this. Variables are containers for storing data values. In Java, there are different types of variables. For example, string, we store text like a hello. String values are surrounded by double quotes. Integer stores integers like a whole number without decimals. Float stores floating point numbers. We also have doubles. Those numbers are with decimal points. char, car, stores single characters, such as A or B. Character values are surrounded by single quotes. And the booleans store values with two states, true or false. So it's similar as a C++. To declare variable, the syntax is type variable name equal value, semicolon. Here we have an integer, my age equal 25, semicolon. When declaring variables of different types, you must use a separate statement for each type. So we cannot say integer my age equal 25, comma, float pi. No, we have to use a separate statement, and each statement ends with a semicolon. We also have a constant. Constant can make our program more easily read and understood by others. In addition, a constant is cached by the Java virtual machine as well as our application. So using a constant can improve performance. To define a variable as constant, in C++, we use the keyword like const, C-O-N-S-T, right? In Java, we use final. We use the keyword final in front of the variable declaration. And a constant can only be assigned a value only once. Let's see an example how to concatenate strings to variables and a constant. In this example, the first argument to ch1 show message dialog method, we have a statement ch pen dot show message dialog. Then the first argument is no. So it's an instance of we can have an instance of JFrame, and for some reason you don't have to reference to JFrame or JWindow instance. You can make that field as a null, N-U-L-L, and still display the identical ch pen dialog. So the first argument is no, then comma, then the second one is a no string, right? Because the double quote, then nothing inside double quote. And we use plus sign to concatenate the empty string with the numerical variable credit days. In the second ch_pen.showMessage dialog, we have every bill is due in, then concatenate with credit days, then concatenate it with another string, which is a space days. Similar as a C++ data type, we should choose appropriate types for variables. Relational operators are also similar as a C++. Let's take a look at the scanner class in Java. The scanner class is used to get user input, and it is found in the java.util utility package. Scanner breaks input into units called tokens. To use the scanner class, we first import java.util.scanner semicolon. Then we create an object of the class and use any of the available methods found in the scanner class documentation. So in our program, we first create an object. So we say scanner input device equal new scanner system in. So scanner class is imported and used to create an object. Then we display a message by system.out.print. We say please enter a name. We will use the next line method in the scanner class to read strings. So name equal input device dot next line that retrieve the next line of data. and it returns it as a string. So system.out.print, we will output a message and say please enter your age. Then age equal input device dot next integer. It will retrieve the input as an integer. In the last line, system.out.println will print out your name is the value in the name variable, and you are the value in the age variable and the years old. We can use those methods to read other types of input. If you enter wrong input, for example, you enter a text in a numerical input, you will receive error messages. Later, we will learn how to handle the error messages. Let's take a look at this example. So in the code, we have a scanner input device. Then we ask the user to enter age, and then we use input device dot next integer, and it retrieved the integer and assigned to age. Then we display another message to let the user to enter the name, and we use input device dot next line method. So let's see what happened with the output. First, please enter your age. So I say 25. Then I press enter. Now the output message is please enter your name. Your name is, that's empty, and you are 25 years old. So there are two problems. The first problem, when it's displayed, please enter your name, the program doesn't wait for my input. And it's just directly output the message. Your name is, which is empty, and you are 25 years old. So what happened is we first input the integer. And remember, we also press the enter key. So when the input device dot next line, when this method, it will get the enter key from the buffer. So it just directly get the enter key, which is not the name string, right? That's why it didn't wait for the user input and directly output your name is, which is empty, and you are 25 years old. So we need to be very careful. There is a problem when using one numerical scanner class retrieval method or next method before using next line method. To avoid the issue, we just add another line here. We say input device dot next line. So this will get the enter key in the buffer. Let's run it. 25. Then my name. So this time the output is correct. So remember to add an extra next line method to retrieve the abandoned enter key character after numerical inputs. In Java, the ch1 class can accept GUI input. The dialog box we can use to accept user inputs like an input dialog box or confirm dialog box. So input dialog box, like we ask questions and provide a text field in which the user can enter response. For example, we can have a show input dialog method. In this program, we have a string result, and the result equal ch1 input dialog. Then no, the second is the question, what is your name? So ch1 make it easy to pop up a standard dialog box. So this is the output of the program. And the user input will be assigned to result. J option pen dot show input dialog. It will return an input as a string, right? So we can use a double dot pass double function to convert the string into numerical value. For example, here we have a double dot pass double wage string. This will convert the wage string to a numerical to a double type value and multiply the hours in week. Then assign the result to weekly pay. Weekly pay is a double type. So we have the double dot pass double, and we also have an integer dot pass integer to convert the string into integer value. The show confirm dialog method of JOption class is a quick and easy way to get user input by asking a confirming question like a yes, no, cancel. The show confirm dialog can be called using the following combinations of parameter. In this program, we have a variable selection. We have a boolean if else. So selection equal J option pen dot show confirm dialog no, and a given message say, do you want to upgrade to the first class? So the show confirm dialog message returns an integer containing one of three possible values: yes option, no option, or cancel option. So it will ask a user question and store the user's response in the integer, here named selection. Selection equal J option dot yes option. So that's actually is a compare. It's not assignment. It's compare if selection is yes option. So this result will assign to it is yes. If the user has selected the yes button in the dialog box, this variable is set to true. Otherwise, the variable is set to false. Finally, the true or false result is displayed. So let's run it. Do you want to upgrade to first class? I click no. Your response is false. Then let's run again. This time I click yes. Response is true. Run again. If I click cancel, you responded false. You can also create a confirm dialog box with 5 arguments. The first one is a parent component. In our case, it's a no. And the second is a prompt message. The third one is a title. The fourth one is the integer that indicates which option button to show. And the fifth one is the integer that describes the kind of dialog box. Let's take an example. Let's add the third parameter, which is the title to be displayed in the title bar. In this show confirm dialog box, we have 2 arguments. Then we continue to add the third one, which is the title, so that's a string. We say airline upgrade, that's the title. The fourth one is the option. So let's just have a yes or no option. We don't have a cancel option. So the default is a yes, no, cancel. Right here we specify yes. We should say J option pen yes no option, or capital. Then the fifth is the kind of message. So let's just put a warning message. Let's say J option pen dot warning message. Let's correct some syntax error here. So here we should say dot J option pen dot, and this red line here is J option, so we misspell ION. Let's run. So we only have two options, and this is the warning type of the message, and then the title is airline upgrade.